The Fleischmann Planetarium in Reno is one of those remarkable structures in the state, not even 50 years old, and yet recognized by the National Register of Historic Places as the world's first atmospheric planetarium. And of course, the building is a beautiful thing to look at on top of its historical significance. It's something we really need to preserve.
The planetarium sits at the north end of the busy University of Nevada campus in Reno. Much of the time, it's filled with school children intent on learning about the solar system.
Searching. Searching. Confirmed. A comet has been identified in sector B7.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. It is our last chance. This is a comet. Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to ask Val to take us down.
In the 60s, when this building was built, there was a great deal of optimism in the world, and the space program was going full bore. The style of architecture used on this building would have really been a symbol for that optimism and space flight and the heavens and the planets and all the wondrous things that human beings were seeking to attain. The Fleischmann Planetarium is a hyperbolic paraboloid, which is that funny-looking roof. From here, it just looks like a very interesting arch. If you look at it from the side, you can see that it almost has the effect of wings, so it looks very much like a building in flight. Very modernistic at the time. The planetarium, Fleischmann Planetarium, was built in 1963. It opened in November of 1963. In the 1960s, Governor Grant Sawyer was promoting the science education in Nevada, and the community had a great fascination with it. It was also the time when the Desert Research Institute was established as a research arm of the university. And the construction of this futuristic and dramatic building would have been a perfect symbol of that interest and enthusiasm for science in those times. It was the first planetarium to include an atmospherium in its programming, and what the atmospherium was a display that showed weather changes, climatic changes, storms, cyclones, clouds, sun, stars, the whole climatic event on the dome of the planetarium stage. Currently, buildings of this type are called Populuxe buildings, and that includes a variety of very modernistic, futuristic styles of buildings. At the time, this hillside that we're standing on had no trees or other vegetation, so you had a clear view of this tremendous facade of the planetarium with the wonderful dramatic screen windows there that dangle from the roof line. Now, this roof is very interesting. It's actually 180 tons of concrete poured at one time in order to get this shape. Inside are brise soleil, which are large hanging panels, vertical panels that turn automatically to reflect the sun. It was very popular at that time on very high-style modernistic buildings employed by some very world-famous architects at the time. These are tremendous ones because they hang the entire length of that very tall window. And also note the railing on the stairways that has a wire meshwork hyperbolic paraboloid design. The primary interior feature of this building is the large dome that houses the Planetarium Theater. People are often surprised to learn that this building is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Normally, buildings need to achieve the age of 50 years or more in order to be eligible for listing. The Fleischmann was listed in 1994 when it was really only 31 years old. And the reason it was listed at that time was because it was recognized that it was exceptionally significant, both for its architecture and also for the role that it played in Reno's history. It's important to save buildings like this because this building particularly was so embraced by the community and so loved by the community, and it symbolizes the hopes and aspirations of us all.
Kill the bunny.